Hey guys, this was a video request by Neza33. He saw these in one of my other videos where I showed my display case my father made me when I was a little kid. I had some, the bottom shelf I had some other Swiss Army knives that I didn't show yet. So that's why I'm making this video. Right off the bat, the first one, I do have a video on this. This is a Victorinox Fisherman. You see a little fish emblem there. This one I do have a video just for this, so if you're not familiar with it or didn't see it yet, you can just check out my other videos. It's on there. So now I'm left with these three. I'll move these up a little bit. Talk about each one individually. The first one's this. Very simplistic. Minimal amount of tools in here, but they get the job done. One thing you'll notice is that all these knives, there's my mouth talking, which is a little strange looking at, but the camera there, they have a very high polish. Now, for the most part, all four of these are well used, very old knives. I cleaned them up, but nothing special. I mean, just wiped them down, a little bit of oil, and even scratched up and old and beat up. Like I said, you could see that. There's the camera. Very high polish. And it goes for all these knives. Each one of these is a different brand. Like I said, the first one's a Victorinox. This one, actually, I don't really know the brand. I believe they're calling this a Barlow as a brand. It says on the front here, very faded. You probably can't make that out, but it says Barlow, and then it says Sologen for Sologen, Germany. Barlow, if you're not familiar with slip joints, Barlow is a slip joint pattern. It's a style or the design of a knife. It could be called a Barlow. But in this case, I think it's using the name Barlow, or whatever company manufactured this. Excuse me. Now, I believe this was manufactured in Italy, or at least the blade. Now, what tells me that is on the bottom here, and again, you're not going to be able to make that out. It's a little bit blurry, but it says Inox, I-N-O-X, which I believe means stainless in Italian. So that's what makes me believe this was manufactured in Italy, or like I said, at least the blade was. Inox is usually found. The word is usually found on stiletto automatic knives. You're probably familiar with those. A lot of times they'll say Inox on it because they're coming out of Italy, and like I said, I believe Inox is Italian for stainless. Now they mark the blade stainless because at one time stainless steel was new, to the cutlery industry, and to say that the blade was stainless steel was like it's almost like not really an advertisement, but it's like a pro. It's an additional good thing about the blade and the knife itself. So it was they were sought after, in other words. So they do mark them Inox, and what's more common, and if you guys have cheap knives out there, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And you see this on cheap valve songs a lot too, older ones anyway. They'll say rostfrei or rostfree. It's R-O-S-T-F-R-E-I, and that I believe is German for rust free. So a lot of people are mistakenly thinking that's the brand. They'll say like, "Oh, what kind of knife is that?" Well, it's a cool old knife. It's made by Rust Free. Well, it's actually just German for rust free. And again, that's another way of just saying that's a stainless blade. And in the case, that the reason they stamp the blades like that is basically saying this is a good steel. It's good stainless steel. So hopefully that explains some of your guys' cheaper knives. But anyway, very simple design. Your main spay blade. That's the design there, spay, or sometimes it's called drop point. But these two tools here are pretty much staple tools. Now these are in all four of these knives, and pretty much all Swiss Army knives. You're going to have a combination of the can opener here, which maybe I'll do a video on how to use a can opener. It's not very hard, but some people don't really know how to do it, so I think that's a good idea. I'll make a video on how to use the Swiss Army knife can opener. But besides the can opener, you have the bottle opener. Okay, and the bottle opener always, or almost always, has the combination tip for a flathead screwdriver. It's always advertised anyway that this can be used as a screwdriver. And in this case, it has a little notch here for which they would call wire strippers. So very simple. The back has a fold-out Phillips head screwdriver, and also a another little reamer in here. But these tools, sometimes, you know, especially being old, you'll find that a lot of times they're rusted and you know, gunk buildup and stuff like that, and they're hard to get out. They're hard to pull out. And almost always I'll see, you know, I'll see someone with an old knife like this. Maybe it was grandfather's or whatever. And these things, they sit, you know, in attics and basements and garages and toolboxes for years and years. And when you finally get to them, sometimes the tools are very hard to get out. And what I would suggest, I know this from experience, don't take your blade out first. If you're going to take all the tools out to show it, you know, display or something like that, take out the blade last. Because I've making this mistake. I've taken the blade out just like this. Right? Let's say this is closed or this is closed. Struggling to take out another tool, I'll slip and I'll end up cutting myself because I have the blade exposed. And I've done it many times before. Well, not many. I've done it twice. But it's definitely, you know, definitely enough to remember. You know, once I got cut, it was a pretty bad cut. So that's my tip to you. Always take the blade out last. Anyway, so that's this knife here. I hope I explained a couple things. And basically, this knife is the handle scales are a little bit different. It's a little duller than, like, say, the Victorinox here. Almost like a satin finish. Not very glossy at all. I really like it, actually. I like that kind of a little bit of a deeper red. So that's that one. Let's move on to the next one. The next one here is a Wegner. Wegner Swiss Army knives are, I believe they're owned, the company Wegner is owned by Victorinox. So Victorinox make these too. It's just a subdivision. Now you'll notice is Victorinox's shield looks like this for, you know, Swiss Army knives, and the Wegner is like that. Let me give you a side by side. So a little different. You have the plus symbol, but obviously, you know, you have a shield on this one and just a basic square on this one. So that's Wegner. Now I don't remember the name of this model, but see the hiker on the front there, or backpacker. He's got a staff and a backpack on, which leads me to believe this is called something along the lines of scout, hiker, you know, backpacker, camper, something like along those lines. You have the wood saw here, which would be obviously very handy in the woods and dealing with timber and trees and stuff. So, you know, if you wanted to find out this exact model, I'm sure I can look it up for you. If you're interested, just send me a private message and I'll take care of that. But again, you have the staple bottle opener, can opener combo. On this one, like I said, you have a saw. You have the main spay blade. And then on this side, you have a small secondary blade, which is a clip point. Instead of a screwdriver on this one, you still have the reamer on the other side, but you have a corkscrew. So it's nice. Wegner tends to be more of a economical line. Sometimes you'll find a Wegner similar to a Victorinox, and you'll say, well, you know, the Victorinox is always a little bit more expensive. Well, that's kind of the idea. Wegner is more of an affordable line of Swiss Army knives. So, anyway, really nice knife. Obviously, comes in handy camping and being outdoors and stuff. Again, that really high polished blade. That's the Wegner. I wish I knew what model it was offhand, but unfortunately I don't. So I'm going to move on. Now, actually, I just have 1 minute left in this video. I'm up to 9 minutes 6 seconds almost, right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it here, and I'll come back for this one because this one's special to me, and you'll see that in the next video. I'll explain all about it. So I'm dubbing this part 1 of I guess just Swiss Army knives. So please come back and visit me for part 2 where I explain this knife, and that's about it. And there's the clock going off. So this is where I bid you goodbye. So thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day. Oh, and come back for part 2. Thanks, guys.